Today we are talking about stress, how to manage it, and how to use it to your advantage. Welcome back. This is Maria from Goalie Training Pro TV. I am an exercise physiologist who specializes in off-ice training for hockey goalies. We cannot control stressful situations. We can't control that they will occur. We can't avoid them altogether, but we can control how we choose to deal with them and what skills we develop to manage them. And a lot of people get a little sour when I point out that fun fact that we really control how we respond to stress, but it's true. The key is sort of finding or developing that sweet spot for you. So if there's too little stress, there's no stimulus to adapt and get better. Maybe you play in a league where you're just so much better than everyone else, or your team is so much better than everyone else that, you know, maybe you're getting 10 shots a game and you're winning every game, but you're not really getting that much load. You're not getting a stimulus to adapt.
It's almost too easy.
On the other hand, maybe you're playing for a team that's, you know, really it's their first year in a higher league and you're getting shelled every time, and it's just your team is hopeless. And so you feel hopeless, you feel helpless, and you fail to thrive because there isn't really opportunity to adapt. There's too much stress coming at you. There are lots of different types of stress. Let's sort of focus on physical stress and how we can use it to our advantage. We think about when we're in the gym, and when we're in the gym training and we're lifting weights, that's a stress, and that's what's giving our body a stimulus to adapt. So if we, some goalies think, oh, I should only use light weights and do high repetitions, but if you're using light weights in the gym and you're doing your sets and you're like, oh yeah, just using light weights, so I don't get bulky or whatever, you're not giving your body a stimulus to adapt. It's too easy. Your body's like, I can already do that, so I don't, there's no stimulus for me to get better at it because it's not that hard. On the other hand, if we go into, we try to lift too heavy a load, then we're going to, over time, our body's not going to be able to adapt fast enough to the trauma and the stress to the muscle. We're going to end up getting injured. So we want to be in that sweet spot. If we're in the gym working out, probably we're doing biceps curls because we're in the gym. But let's say the workout, the workout says 3 sets of 8 biceps curls. Well, you should get that so that, repetition 7 and 8, they're hard to get, those last 2 reps. You can get them with perfect technique, but they're hard to get. That way we're giving our muscle some micro trauma. That's what stimulates it to repair and rebuild and get stronger and bigger, but we're not causing so much trauma that we're damaging the muscle over time and creating an injury. I think there's also tremendous value just in how we perceive stress, because I think when we talk to friends and in the media, stress is set across as something that's really bad and that it's always bad. Oh, it's a stressful time and we're so stressed, and it gets to be almost this like badge of a burden that you have to carry. But really it's again finding that balance, how you view it. So stress is an opportunity to grow. And same goes like at work, school, relationships, there are stresses. And if we aren't exposed to those stresses, just like in the gym, if we're not lifting a heavy enough load, then we don't develop the skills we need to cope with those stresses. They won't just magically appear. It's like my muscles. I can't just, walk by the gym every so often and my muscles get stronger. I have to go in and do the work. I have to expose my muscles to the overload, to the stress, and over time, I get better and better at it. When I was in grad school, all the way through school, all the way through university to grad school, when I had to speak in public, my voice would audibly quiver, like it would sound sort of like I was yodeling. I would like have to do the hard swallow. I would be sick to my stomach. Like it was terrible.
The car hand rigging.
Can you speak up, Ricky?
When I got to grad school, I had to present to doctors who, I had to know my stuff and present to doctors. And it was extremely stressful and it was very uncomfortable. But that's how I developed the coping skills. So now I can chat with, this is easy, man. I don't have to line up in front of like a group of orthopedic surgeons to explain my thesis research. I'm just chatting with you. So you have to take that. Now, there are also times when things can actually get overwhelming, just like in the gym. If you're trying to lift too heavy, your body doesn't have time to adapt and recover. Over time, that muscle is going to get weaker and it's eventually going to get injured. The same can happen to you when there's too much work, school, relationship stress. So you also need to identify. I'm not saying it's just mind over matter and you can power through anything. You also need to know, hey, when do I need a break? And do I have some tools that I can develop that help me manage it? Or maybe I need to talk to somebody, a therapist or a specialist who can help me navigate my way through it. Just like people come to me to help with their gym training so they can be a better goalie. Maybe you need to talk to a specialist who can help manage those other stresses. For me, those of you who know me pretty well know that every morning I walk around, there's a pond down at the end of our street, and I just go walk around the pond, and it's just like 3/4 of a mile, and it's a time when I just sort of do a walking meditation when I look, listen, and feel. So when my brain starts going of all the things I've got to do, I'm just like, no, Maria, you're just here to look, listen, and feel. So I look with my eyes and I'll, make note of the trees or what birds can I see, and I'll listen, to the birds singing or the construction workers, working or whatever, and I'll feel the air on my face, if it's raining, feel the rain on my face. But it's just a time that really helps me reset and sort of start the day with a clean slate. So maybe there's something for you. Maybe it's just listening to music or playing a musical instrument or reading for a minute or two. But try to find those skills that are going to help you continue to adapt without getting completely overwhelmed. Out of my little walking meditation. I'm interested to hear your perspective on stress. Do you see it as a positive or a negative? I can see that it really is both, depending on the dose response. How do you deal with stress? Do you have any little things like that, walk around the pond or a meditation? Tell me what you do. Drop a comment below. Let me know what you do to help keep things in check so you're not getting overwhelmed. I think I'll wrap up just going back to a mental stress and how, when we deal with mental stress and we get over those mental stress hurdles, how we learn to problem solve, how we learn to critically think, how we learn to predict possible hurdles in the future. So let's say you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed because you have a work or a school assignment that's due tomorrow, and you're super stressed because you're not finished and you got to get it done. Well, why are you feeling so overwhelmed? Well, I'm feeling overwhelmed because it's due tomorrow and I haven't started it. Well, why didn't you start it? Did you not start it because you didn't know what to do? Because you didn't sort of plan ahead so that you would have it done on time? Because other things were taking you away from finishing that assignment, and maybe it was something you couldn't get around, or maybe it was something, oh yeah, you know what, I went to the mall for 3 hours and really I should have been working on this. So you can learn from that. So rather than just being immersed in the stress, like I'm drowning, I'm drowning, just relax and get floating, and now what's my next best step? And then learn that lesson so that next time you're not going to repeat it. And that's how we build that mental resilience. Same thing happens on the ice. Might have a terrible game. Okay, what was one or two things that I could have done better? A lot of times when we have a terrible game, we know why we got scored on. I got scored on because when I went in my butterfly, I lifted my stick off the ice and the puck went through along the ice. So then we're going to focus on improving that for the next time, so we don't have to deal with that stress in the same way, because you'll continue to be stressed by that event until you outgrow it by developing the coping skills that you need. So instead of focusing on the problem, I got lit up today at hockey, start focusing on the solution. So the problem is the problem. What can I do to make it better, or what can I do to make it better next time? So for the assignment thing, okay, maybe you get started right away. Maybe you go into your calendar and you write in, 2 hours a day that you're going to work on it so that you have time. Maybe if last time the dog ate your memory stick, okay, don't put the memory stick next to the dog food, this time. So learn from it, have a plan for next time, and that's how you make stress work to your advantage. If you want to dive a little deeper into some tips of how goalies get a resilient mindset, check out this video here. If you want to use physical stress to build big, strong goalie legs, then this is the video for you. And now is the time when I ask you, I beg of you, I plead with you, hit the like button. Do me a favor, please. It helps the YouTube algorithm show this video to more goalies like you, so we all win. If you're already subscribed, hit the bell. That's how you find out about videos before anybody else. If you want your very own free copy of the Butterfly Challenge, which gives you a wider butterfly flare in the next 14 days or less, simply go to your app store and search Butterfly Challenge. I'll also drop a link in the description. Otherwise, I will catch you next time. Same bat channel. I love ya. Cheers.